This discussion is about circles and their standard equation and how to find the equation of a circle. So let's begin with the standard equation of a circle. Standard equation is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to radius, or r squared. Now here your h and your k is always the center point. Just like this. Of course, your radius, it's the distance from any outside circle to the center. Now what we have here is a circle right here in the center. So let's find the equation of this circle. The first thing we want to do is to find the center. The center, I believe, is right here. And that point is, let's see, 3, -1. That's the center. And in this case, that would be the h and the k. H and the k. So, what our equation would look like is x minus, the h is there, so that would be a 3 squared, plus y. Now because the k is a -1, we would put -1, which would make a +1 right there, squared, equals, now the radius. Now the question is, how do you find the radius? The radius is the distance from your center point to the outside. Now I wanted to show you two methods. One of them is easier than the other, but you need to know the other as well. First, to find the distance, just count the blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. So your radius would be 4. Now the other method is using a distance formula or midpoint, actually distance formula. So I want to show you what the distance formula is. Distance formula is equal to the square root of x sub 1 minus x sub 2 squared plus y sub 1 minus y sub 2 squared. Now some other formulas may have x sub 2 in front and y sub 1 behind. The truth of the matter is this. So long as you're consistent subtracting the x sub 1 from x sub 2 and y sub 1 from y sub 2, or the reverse, it'll work out for you. Now x1, x2, y1, y2, that's referring to 2 points. This point and that point. Okay, so we've got the midpoint right here. This point here is 7, -1. Alright, so let's try it out. Let's plug these values into the equation. D is equal to the square root of, let's see, so we have 3 minus 7 squared plus -1 minus a -1 squared. That right there becomes 0 squared, so that's non-existent. So here's what we need to focus on. 3 and a -7, that makes 4. 4 squared is 16. The square root of 16 is then equal to 4. So the distance is 4. So my radius then from this point to this point is 4. Now, yes, I know you're thinking, why don't we just count the blocks? Well, you can in most instances, but there may be situations where you don't have that availability. And here's where the distance formula comes in. And this is just one way that I could provide that information to you. Alright, Now that we've got all the pieces of our formula, the h, the k, and the r, or the radius, let's complete the equation. And here we put r squared, 4 squared, which is 16. Now, this right here is the equation of this circle using the standard formula. Now, there are a couple of other things that you need to be aware of, a couple of other ways that the information of a circle may come, and you have to convert it to this right here. So let's take a look at those. Okay, well, let's try this. What if the information you're given is this right here? Center is -13, -8, and radius is equal to 2. How would you create the formula, or the standard formula of the circle that represents this equation? Very simply, this -13, of course, is going to be your h, this is going to be your k, and of course this is your radius. So then you take this and you plug it in. You end up with x. It's a -13, so it's going to be a positive 13 right here. Squared again, let me explain. X minus a -13. Minus a negative makes a positive. Plus y minus -18, which means a positive 8, or I'm sorry, y minus a -8 makes a positive 8 squared, equals, and radius is 2, you square your radius, you get 4. So the equation here is there. Alright. Now, if the information comes in any other way, let's see. Center is 0, 0, and let's say it says diameter of a circle is 6. Well, a little bit different here, but let's think about this for a minute. If your center is 0, 0, then h is 0, k is 0. So x minus 0 would just be x. So we could write it this way, x squared plus y squared. So one thing we have noticed right here is if our center is the origin, we don't have to show the negative h and the negative k. We can just say x squared plus y squared if the center is the origin. Now diameter here. What is diameter? How does that relate to radius? Well, diameter is twice the radius. So what's half of the diameter? 3. 3 squared then would be 9. And so there's the equation of that line. Okay, now these were pretty easy. Let's try one where it's not in a standard form already, or they don't give you pieces like this, but they give you an equation that is in a non-standard format, and you have to convert it. Alright. Let's try this equation. X squared plus y squared minus 16x minus 6y plus 9 equals 0. Okay, with this equation, let's see if we can convert it into the format to the standard formula of a circle. And first of all, let's get that down here. Okay, here's the formula again. Alright, here's what we need to do. We need to get the x's together and the y's together. So let's rewrite this. X squared minus 16x. So I'm going to leave a space there. Y squared minus 6y, and now I'm going to put this 9 on the other side of the equal sign. So instead of a positive 9, when we move it over here, it becomes a negative 9. Now we've got to set up, notice what I've done. I have looked at this now as two separate equations, if you will. I'm going to put parentheses here and here. Put a plus sign, parentheses here and here. Now if you're starting to see what I'm doing, I hope you do, notice x minus h, y minus k, two separate parentheses. I'm trying to get it into this format here. Now I'm sure you're asking, what more do we need to do? What are these spaces here for? Well, x minus h squared. When that is squared, that's implying x minus h times x minus h. So it's actually symbolizing one of those special products when you're dealing with parabolas or quadratics. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to fill in this space and this space using the complete the square formula. And here's how we do it. We take this number, 16, we half it, and then we square it. So what is half of 16? It's 4. 4 squared is 16. I'm sorry. Let's repeat that. 16. What is half of 16? It is 8, not 4. So 8 squared is 64. So let's put a positive 64 here. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Positive 64 here. Now, let's do the same thing with this one. Take the 6, half it. What's half of 6? It's 3. And 3 squared is 9. So let's put plus 9 there and plus 9 here. Now, with that having completed, let's rewrite this. I guess I want to say, let's factor this now. X squared minus 16x plus 64 will factor into this right here. X minus 8 squared plus y squared minus 6y plus 9 will factor y minus 3 squared equals, now let's add up all this. The 9's cancel. One's positive, one's negative, leaving me just 64. So what is my radius? Can you tell? Notice, well, first of all, before I even do that, look at the formula. X minus 8 squared, x minus h squared, plus y minus 3 squared, y minus k squared, equals 64, or r squared. So, what is my h and k? Can you guess? It is 8, 3. So that's my center point. And what is my radius? It is 8. So what we've done is we took a formula or an equation like this and we converted. Now notice, you're going to say, how do I know it's a circle formula? Here's what you're looking for. X squared, y squared, and that the y is a positive y. These things right here are a dead giveaway that you're dealing with a circle equation. Alright, that completes our discussion on circles.